What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brian and I are going to have a great show for you this Tuesday. Get you ready for the betting week. Brian, my man, how we doing, buddy? You look good.
Good, brother. Good. How about yourself?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. We had our first week in college football. It was fantastic. A lot of our picks on the show hit. I'm ready for more, man. But, yeah, I'm doing well, buddy.
Absolutely. I didn't even know we had a game tomorrow night, but I saw UAB and Jacksonville State pop up on the board a couple hours ago. So we, I guess tonight is just our last night without pigskin. So that's good.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. It's great. We're going to break all these games down. Everybody, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell, CBS Sportsline, alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Everyone, make sure to download the BetMGM app. And I'm telling you, do it today. Use promo code A to Z 100 because this expires at the end of the day. If you use that promo code A to Z 100, you get and download the app, you can get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. $1,000. It ends today. Make sure to do it if you haven't. I've done it before. It's fantastic. It's quick. They put those credits in your account ASAP. So that's BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com. Excuse me. For terms and conditions, must be 21 years or older, must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. So, Brian, we have real football. Like you said, we're coming off a great weekend. Let's continue it. Where I want to start here is we've got, like you said, games during the week, but we've got a local one, a big one. The Tennessee Vols kick off their season and their, start under Josh Heupel Thursday night. All right, they've got Bowling Green coming to Knoxville. You've got Tennessee, a 35-point favorite, and a total of 61.5. So before we jump into the full board, I want to break this game down first. Brian, any thoughts, man? What do you see out of here? Do you have any best bets? Any advice on how you go about betting this game?
Well, so I just looked, and I was hoping the first half line would be 21 or fewer, and I think it's just one book. Yeah, one book has posted their first half line on Tennessee, and it's 22 with a total of 32 for the over-under. I was kind of hoping it would be 21 or fewer for the first half, and I might consider Tennessee. I think it's Tennessee or pass, whether the first quarter line's not out, but whether it's first quarter, first half, or even the whole game, I think it's Tennessee or pass. Bowling Green's awful. They went 0-5 straight up last year, 1-4 against the spread. They averaged only 11.4 points per game. They gave up 45 points per game. They even got beat 31-3 by Akron, and Akron had lost 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Akron was on a 21-game losing streak and beat them 31-3. Just to give you an example of how down Bowling Green is, and they're really bad. It should be a good start to the Josh Heupel era. I don't know that I want to lay 35, especially when we could have had 33 a few weeks back. But it's definitely Tennessee or pass on all bets, I think, because Bowling Green is abysmal.
Yeah, they are abysmal, and that's what makes this game so difficult because, here in the comments, Jeff Rubel says, stay away from Joe Milton. So Joe Milton named the Tennessee starting quarterback. Look, nothing against the kid. He might do fine. Don't know. But I'm with you. I saw the kid at Michigan, and taking all that beyond it, you've got a spread of 35 points against a terrible team in Bowling Green. I don't know what to expect out of Tennessee. My play here is the under 61.5. I think that's how I'm going to go about it. I could see this game being pretty sloppy on both sides. I think Tennessee wins the game just in terms of talent, which I don't know how many games Tennessee's going to have this year where they're winning the game, just by talent alone over their other teams. But this is going to be one of them. They're going to put up points. They're going to beat this team. But 35 is a lot. I don't feel comfortable with that at all. I also don't feel comfortable with, taking Bowling Green plus 35 because they're that bad. And I could see Josh Heupel wanting to do everything he can, in the second half and putting up points, garbage points that really don't matter. But, yeah, I just don't – I don't have enough of a feel on the spread, especially with a new coaching staff as well. I mean, we saw what Heupel did at UCF, but I just don't know here. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the under. I think that's the play. And if I lose it, I lose it. but I feel like I'm taking the best possible approach here. And Damon Boswell in the chat says Tennessee's way more talented. Under Tennessee against the spread is the play. Tease it, parlay it. Like I'm going under. Like that's my play here. I'm gonna roll with it. And again, if I lose it, I lose it. That's fine. I will say this though, before we jump into the board, I think I found a little bit of a correlation here when playing totals. Okay, so we talked all the way about through the NFL preseason about how unders, we're gonna go, and we pretty much got spot on there, right? So when you look at the first games, we Hall of Fame and week 1 of the preseason, unders hit at a clip of 82.3%. Week 2, 62.5%. Week 3, 26.6%. Okay. So 1, you had point changes obviously happening in terms of games, but you also had books adjusting. Now, we've only had 5 games in week 0 of college football, but you know what that under hit at, Brian? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
My fault. I was just trying to do it in my head. I know UTEP went under. I know Hawaii, UCLA went under. Nebraska, Illinois barely went under. Did they all go under?
80%.
Okay.
80%. So I'm not saying that it's going to equal exactly to week 1 in the preseason of 82.3%. But what I am saying is that if you're ever going to play unders, this week is the week to do it. We played a ton of them in week 0. They looked good. So again, I'm not saying that it's going to correlate exactly, but I think we might have something here. So just keep an eye out. Right. Like I think that you're going to find some games where unders are going to be some plays, and I'll put some more when we go through the board. But yeah, that's my pick. And Brian, I'm with you. First half, first half plays, that might be the way to go. Yeah, I'm going to go under 61.5. But enough on that. Let's jump to the full board. All right. So we've got a full slate of week 1 games across college football. What I want to do, and Brian, this applies to you, it applies to me, and it applies to everyone that's watching. Please put them in the chat, put them on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. We want to see what your picks are. What I want to do is, you know what, Brian? I'm going to open the board to you. Any game in college football week 1, and I say games, plural.
Yeah.
What are our best bets, man? Like you could pick 1, you could pick 10. What do you got?
All right. I'm going to go to Thursday night. East Carolina and Appalachian State. Let me make sure I've got the correct number as it stands right now. Looks like our friends at BetMGM, they have a number that looks a little more tasty than other ones. It's at 56.5. Obviously, 56, a multiple of 7. So that's a key number with a total. So maybe buy that half point to 56. And I like the over with East Carolina and App State. So Holton Ahlers, the quarterback for ECU, he's been around for a while. He started 25 games. He's got 7,093 career passing yards, a 51-22 TD to INT ratio. He can also run it, 1,060 career rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns. Now, he lost his best receiver, Blake Prohl, but he's got the rest of his receivers back, including Tyler Snead, who is all AAC second team, not first team. But so East Carolina averaged 30.2 points per game last year, so they can score. I mean, they put up 52 against SMU, 30 against Tulsa, 44 against USF. They score, and their defense is garbage. They gave up an average of 35.4 points per game last year, and that was with holding Temple to only 3 in a 28-3 win. If you take away that game, their other 8 games, they gave up an average of 39.5 points per game. Now, in terms of App State, their offense, now I don't know, they're going to Chase Bryce, who was struggle city for him at Duke last year. You may remember him from when Clemson rallied to beat Syracuse when Dungy was still there, the quarterback with Dino and Dungy. He had a couple of big third down passes on that game-winning drive with they got a touchdown with like a minute left to win that game in 2019. But he transfers to Duke last year, and he was awful, which had to do with his teammates as well. But look, App State, Phil Steele's national unit rankings, they got the number 9 running backs in the country, 44 for wide receivers, 56 for O-line, not that good. But Cameron Peoples, their running back, 1,124 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry average last year. They've got all their receivers back, and App State should just be able to run it down ECU's throat. I even went to weather.com. Perfect weather in Charlotte tomorrow night or Thursday night. So I like the over in that one.
Nice. I like it. Now, I'll say this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 6 plays this week. All right. So I'm going to rip through them. And here's the tough part. I don't know how much value to put in data from last year. I think there's a little bit, but I also think a lot of it is just I'm not really even going to pay attention, right? So going off of that, my biggest play this week is Ohio State. I've been talking about it for, I think, a week, 2 weeks now. I got them at 13.5. It sits 14.5 at some books. Look, I like PJ Fleck in Minnesota. I think they're going to be fine. I think that they start slow, Minnesota, and this is going to be a horrible, horrible matchup for them. Ohio State has wide receivers for days. I think Ryan Day is going to do everything he can to just play a great game, right? Like no matter who's in, second half, if they're up big, whatever. The last time we saw Ohio State, they had their teeth kicked in by Alabama. And I think that they've been hearing about that all offseason. And you look at what Ryan Day has done just in his career. He's 6-1 against a spread on the road as Ohio State's head coach. He's better on the road. And the Buckeyes are 7-0 against the spread the last 2 seasons when favored by 20 points or fewer. Again, I'm trying to look at, numbers that go and correlate beyond more than just last season. But I believe absolutely in Ohio State. I think they're the best team in the country this year, and I think that they're gonna start off hot. So yeah, I'm gonna ride them with the spread. Second, I'm gonna go Army at Georgia State under 51.5. Again, just looking at this game, I think it's one that's probably gonna end around 42, 43 points. So I think there's some value there in under 51.5. We've talked about it as well. I've got Ole Miss 9.5. I think it's up to 10.5 now at books against Louisville on Monday night, in Atlanta on Monday night. We've talked about it. You give Lane Kiffin a Monday night by himself to just run the score up on anybody for recruiting purposes, marketing purposes, he's going to do it. I mean, absolutely he's going to do it. So I'm going to roll with Ole Miss on that one. Wisconsin 4.5 against Penn State. So this one's tough. I don't necessarily believe in Penn State. I don't necessarily believe in Wisconsin this year. I think Wisconsin's a little bit better than people think, but not a whole lot. I could see this game being kind of ugly, but I'm going to roll with Wisconsin here. I think that they're just going to be a better team on the field week 1 against Penn State. That's just my thoughts here. It's a low spread, 4.5. I'm going to roll Wisconsin there. 2 more plays. Michigan State at Northwestern. I'm going to play the under 45 here. I think that this is a game that honestly could be at 36 to 38 points, maybe 40 at the max. I'm going to roll at the under there. Also, I'm going to roll West Virginia at Maryland, under 57.5. That total keeps going up. I'm not really sure why, but I'm going to go with the under there. I think that you're going to find some value in that one. So, yeah, the 6 that I have, Ohio State all day. Army at Georgia State under 51.5. Ole Miss 9.5, 10, 10.5, wherever you could get it. Wisconsin 4.5 against Penn State. Michigan State at Northwestern under 45, and West Virginia at Maryland under 57.5. So, Brian, any thoughts that you have on what I threw out there? Good, bad, negative? I mean, it doesn't matter.
I just looked it up. Ryan Day as a road favorite, 6-1 against the spread. Now, hold on. That's since he's the head coach. When he was, didn't they play at TCU? Oh, wait, no, that was a neutral field. But they covered, oh, no. Anyway, 6-1 as a road favorite, Ryan Day. And so I highlighted the App State ECU over. But our listeners know already I'm on LSU. We've talked about it all summer. I'm on UL Lafayette. And I think we've hit on Clemson -3 as well. So, I mean, I'm not just leaving with that one lone play. So that's what 4 there. I'm going to have a parlay here in another segment. I'm trying to think if I'm missing one. Well, I got Ole Miss buying the half point from 7.5 to 7 early this summer. I know what I was going to say. I'm going to be looking for Ole Miss first quarter and first half, But I was about to say those numbers aren't out yet. The first quarter's not out. I bet that the first half is, and I'm going to look that up right now. And I'll throw it back to you. And when we come back to me in the next segment, I'll have that first half line for Ole Miss looked up.
Yeah, no, I got you. So in the chat, our man Jeff Ribble says, I like you already. We got an Ohio State fan. Look, buddy, I agree, man. Like, I think Ohio State is going to be a monster this year. I'm so excited to watch them. When you have, excuse me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is like your fourth or fifth wide receiver, like it goes to show, dude, just how talented that this team is. Because I think that kid is going to be exactly like his dad. Honestly, like I know I've only seen probably a couple weeks, of Ohio State practices through video, and yeah, I'm all over Ohio State. I just think that it's going to be problems week one throughout for a lot of teams. Sean also says, yeah, Clifford, a lot of concerns at a Happy Valley. Look, man, yeah, I don't buy into Penn State. I've seen James Franklin. I saw what he did at Vanderbilt here, just down the street. Nothing against him, man. Like he did a tremendous job there, but I just don't buy into it. Like I'm gonna roll with Wisconsin there, yeah. So we're gonna jump back in because we also want to do a perfect parlay for college football week one, and it's gonna be a little bit different than just our picks because there's a certain way to go about it, and we'll explain it. But really quickly, what I do want to do is take a look at the board for Major League Baseball, something that we have going on today that we can look and bet on, and please. Anybody in the chat, if you're playing anything baseball, I want to see it. Please drop them in here. Zach Goodman says, yeah, MLB. The Cardinals were plus 1,500 to make the playoffs. Look, I've got 3 games that I've bet on today. Do what you want with them. There might be 2 that hit, 1 that doesn't. I'll just read them out here and explain a little bit of why. I'm going with the A's money line against the Tigers today. Look, I hit on the Tigers yesterday, and they've now played in 6 straight games that were one-run games. But I'm going to go with Oakland here. Oakland 60% straight up as a betting favorite. The Tigers, they're 0-4 versus the A's this season. It can't keep going on one-run games, and I don't believe in the Tigers to win. So I'm going to roll with the A's here. I'm also going to go – we've got a Brewers and Giants game. I'm going to go with the Giants plus 1.5 on the run line. Milwaukee's 33% straight up versus the Giants this year. San Francisco 68% straight up at home this season. Yeah, I mean Milwaukee's favorited, but yeah, if you're giving me the Giants at home plus 1.5 at a decent price, I'm going to roll there. And then the third game I've got the Rockies at the Rangers. I'm going to go with the over 8.5 here. I thought it would hit yesterday. It didn't. I think they ended 4-3. But I'm going to roll with the over 8.5 here. And here's why. Colorado's 28-17 straight up versus teams with losing records. So I think that they're going to be able to produce some runs. Also, the Rangers, they've had games, including the Rangers, all right, have had 9+ runs in 7 of their last 9. So I think the over of 8.5 here hits. Those are the 3. Again, the board's a little dicey today, so be careful there. I wouldn't parlay all 3 of them. I don't know if I'd parlay any of them, but take a look there. I think you can find some value somewhere between those 3. Yeah, and agreed. Look, Mally says, yeah, how the Giants not even named a starter yet. I haven't seen it. Zach Goodman, Dodgers over, Blue Jays win, Rays money line. Yeah, don't disagree with that at all. Now, keep dropping those in. If you got Major League plays today, I want to see them, please, because, yeah, look, I could use your help just the same. Let's find some winners. Yeah, Anthony says, yeah, Rockies are garbage on the road. I agree. I agree. It's a weird game. It's a weird board today. So just be careful out there. It could be – this game could end at 10 runs scored. It could end at 2. That's the tough part with it. Now, all right. So let's get into my favorite segment of today of our show, finding the perfect college football week 1 parlay. All right. And we talked about just a minute ago that it's not exactly the same in an approach of, hey, well, these are the picks that you had. Like I'm looking at it from a different angle. And Brian, I'm going to go first and I want you to go next, but just so I can explain kind of what I'm talking about here. Okay. So I have 2 that I've put together here. First one, it's plus 300. It's 6 teams. Okay. And I'll put it on Twitter when we get done so everybody can see. Alabama money line, Wisconsin money line, Notre Dame money line, Oregon money line, Ole Miss money line, Texas money line. I think all 6 of these teams win. Okay. Now,
watch out for those Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It's 6 teams, so I know and understand the danger here. Okay, and it's only plus 300, but I feel good with it, right? Like I feel good that we might have a sweat in one of them. Might be. I don't think Texas all that much. Wisconsin probably your biggest sweat here, but yeah, plus 300. Now the second one, we talked about unders. Okay, so I took a look this morning, and I was trying to find the best parlay that I could put together based on unders for this week. I'm not a big under player, but again, just going off of weird off seasons, COVID situations at schools, what we saw in week 0, there could be some sloppy play out here. So I wanted to find myself, how can I put together the best under parlay, limit risk as much as possible, but come up with a good number. Okay. So here's what I've got. It's a 4-leg. It pays plus 1228. I'm going to go Bowling Green at Tennessee under 61.5. We go Michigan State at Northwestern under 45. I'm going to go Army at Georgia State under 50. And I'm going to go West Virginia at Maryland under 57.5. That's what I've got. Now, you could combine those if you'd like with some of those money lines to juice that number up. But in terms of those 4 unders, that's where I'm at. Now, if anybody else has any thoughts on that, please tell me. Drop them in. If you see a game that you like, don't like in terms of those, yeah, let me know. And let us know what your parlays are, what you could put together as your perfect parlay. So, Brian, I throw it to you, man. What do you got here?
All righty. Let's do LSU -3. The over, which our friends at BetMGM have at 56.5 for ECU and App State. And then to end it, we're going to go the money line on Ole Miss -380. So if, or when, I should say, we hit LSU and the App State ECU over, we'll be standing alone for Monday's game. And this, with Ole Miss -380 on the money line, so 100 would get 360 and 37 cents. So if we hit those, when we hit those first 2, if you want, you can come back with a little bit of Louisville plus 10.5. Who knows? The way this number's going up, it could be 14 by Monday. We shall see. But I'm not saying I think Ole Miss to win outright is pretty much a lock. So you don't have to do that. And if I did, I would only do it for maybe 20% of the original, or what we would get paid on the whole bet, on the whole parlay. But I'm just throwing that out as an option potentially to, make sure you get a little bit of profit if you wanted to do that. So that's LSU -3 over 56.5 ECU and App State. That game's tomorrow, Thursday night, by the way. So you got to get it in before Thursday night. And then Ole Miss -380 on the money line. That's Monday night against Louisville. I was also just going to throw out some quick hit thoughts. Ole Miss does not have a first half line yet. I guess because it's Monday, they're holding off a little longer for giving a first half line there. I religiously bet Alabama first halves last year. They went 11-2, the only non-covers against Georgia and Ole Miss. I didn't do it against Ole Miss. I'm not as sold on them yet. I want to see Bryce Young play, but I probably will still have a little bit on Alabama -10 in the first half against Alabama, or against Miami, excuse me. I also see my Gators are at -14 in the first half against FAU. I'm not against that. I'll probably have a small play on that. A couple of other little things. So Oklahoma at Tulane has been moved to Norman because of the hurricane. So that line went from Oklahoma -27. It's now 31.5. And not only is Tulane displaced, for not being able to play at home this week, they are also relocating to Birmingham for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks with all the damage in New Orleans. And LSU, I hate to share this, but the line has gone down to 3. But it's kind of a detriment, or maybe not really. So it happened on Sunday because of the storm. They wanted to bus to Houston. Normally a 4-hour drive because of evacuation traffic. It took them more than 10 hours to get to Houston. They're posted up in Houston where they're practicing until Thursday. Then they fly to LA. Just letting you know, FYI on that. A couple of other stats. Fresno State, which cashed us a winner last week, 45-0 over UConn. They are at Oregon this week, and they are in their last – sorry, I'm trying to find it here. Here we go. They are 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 as road underdogs. San Jose State, the defending Mountain West champs, who are 9-1 both straight up and against the spread in their last 10, are all the way down to +14 at the Coliseum against Southern Cal this week. They are in their last 13 as road underdogs. The Spartans are 10-3 against the spread, and in their last 15 as double-digit underdogs. They are 12-3 against the spread, and there we go. That's all I got.
I like it. No, hey, and Fresno State, man, they could score. Like, I know that UConn's terrible. We talked about that, but yeah, I mean, Fresno State's decent, and since 2016, they're the best cover percentage team in college football. So we talked about that last week. They came through. Yeah, it's not a bad look there. Not a bad look at all. So that's all the time that we have for today. Everyone, make sure, let us know what your picks are. We're going to be back on Friday, same time, 2 p.m. Central. We're going to go through the entire board, find more winners, find more plays, and put together everything that we have and kind of a game plan, because that's one thing that I wanted to mention. There's going to be a ton of games and a ton of action. Have a plan. Be smart. Get your picks in early when it's smart, when you're not waiting for a number. But also remember, sportsbooks, the apps are going to be overloaded, right? So I'm not saying anything negative on it. What I'm saying is, as you get closer to kickoff, just be careful, because you're going to have so many people trying to throw bets in. So the quicker that you can get these things in, the better that you will be. So see you on Friday. Thank you so much. For Brian Edwards, I'm Alan Bell. Buddy, Brian, let's cash some tickets, man. Let's do it.
Let's go over ECU App State. Good luck, everybody.
See you.